what's happening, everybody? Welcome back. Electrified Rider here. Well, I'm out on the Begode EX Max today. I've been riding this wheel now for the last week. The weather hasn't been that great, so I've been heading out mostly at night. Not a great opportunity for filming. But today we've got some beautiful weather, so I can bring you guys a bit of footage, share with you my thoughts, opinions, ideas about this wheel. But right off the bat, I gotta tell you, this wheel is a ton of fun. Coming from the Veteran Sherman S, I would compare that wheel more to like a Cadillac with the super soft suspension, but still has the power underneath the hood. The Begode ET Max, it's like a race car. It's got tons of power, you can feel it, it's fun to access, and the wheel's extremely stable. You know, this wheel carves and takes turns so well. So what are some of the main reasons why I opted to purchase this wheel and add it to my stall? Well, being that it's the first 168 volt wheel to be released, it offers a ton of power, and that power for me also equates to safety. I like to compare it to a vehicle. Your car speedometer might go up to 150, 160, but you're not taking your car that fast, at least most people aren't. You might be taking it up to 80, 90 on occasion, which gives you a great buffer zone between topping out what the engine is capable of doing, which can add to the longevity of your vehicle, reduce wear and tear on your vehicle, and offer you that safety buffer. Same holds true for these wheels, but the safety buffer is the most important thing in my opinion. If you're getting close to the threshold of what your wheel is capable of doing, then you're putting yourself at a higher level of risk. So even if you don't plan on going on super high speed runs, having that power there is great for keeping your wheel upright and also being able to tap into that power quickly to avoid a dangerous situation, whether it's with a vehicle or a pedestrian. It's a very great thing to have available. That power is a very great thing to be able to access. A sluggish response versus being able to quickly and with agility and nimbly move out of the way of a dangerous situation. So I want to talk a bit about the pads that come with the wheel. They are gorgeous and they add to the aesthetics of the wheel big time. And I gave them the old college try. I really wanted them to work out just because they look so great. But in my situation, I wasn't able to get it to work for me. The front pads, perhaps it could work out. But the rear pads, the brake pads, they just have too much flexibility on the back end. And I found that no matter what I did when braking, those pads would rub into the back tire. So I've come to the conclusion that the pad design was mainly for aesthetics, which is fine because, you know, pads are really a personal preference, and it's one of the things that us EUC riders like to customize on our wheels. since I switched over the pads, I really began to click with this wheel. And that was about after 20 miles of my initial testing. Another one of the challenges early on for me was the stiffer suspension, which I'm not used to. As I mentioned, my first wheel and only other wheel is the Sherman S, which is an extremely comfy ride and packs a punch as well. But after playing with the coil, the dampening, the rebound, and also the air pressure, because it's a hybrid shock, it has a coil as well as an air chamber, I eventually got it dialed in to what really feels right. And although still more on the stiff side, what ends up happening is the faster you go, you begin to float over the small stuff. It handles larger stuff very well, speed bumps, curb drops. And seated riding on this wheel is a cinch. The height of this wheel makes it very easy for me, being a taller guy, to get down in that seated position. What do you guys think of my view today? Pretty amazing, right? You know, I fell in love with the EUC early on because of the fact that I love getting out in nature. I love exercise, and I love the sense of freedom. The EUC gives you all of those things.
Electrified.
Found that I am using my knees a lot more as part of the suspension system, which is just fine. And we got these beautiful hills. Beautiful weather today. All right, so let's slow it down for a minute, take a little cruise. Maybe you can hear me better. All in all, I'm very happy with this purchase. I've already taken it out with the crew. We've done some group rides already. Diego, Austin, and Vanny all got a chance to try out the wheel. And in a future video, I'll be sharing with you some footage of them riding this wheel as well. Being that we're all at different skill levels and having ridden the EUC for different lengths of time, I think it would be good to get their overall thoughts and opinions on this wheel and bring that to you guys as well, so that you can make a better informed decision if it might be right for you. has good braking power too. I can really lean into this wheel with confidence. Passing on your left. The power is felt in the wheel, and when I start leaning into it, the wheel just wants to move. I don't feel any sort of dip or softness in the pedals. I do think this wheel is going to make an excellent race wheel. I'm not a racer or track racer. I don't have experience with it, but just being on the wheel itself, taking it out for these rides, I can tell you the power, the speed, the torque, the way that it handles turns, carving, you got to do a quick 180, everything is really on point. So this wheel can really be a cruiser wheel as well. I've been pushing the wheel pretty hard, and I can get about 40 miles, and that's not just flat ground, that's actually scaling mountains. Gone up 3,200 feet to the summit of a mountain yesterday. Something worth mentioning as well is that out of the guys that I've been riding with, all of them weigh less than me. And none of them felt as if the wheel was too heavy or awkward. But I'll let them touch on that a little bit more themselves. Spring has definitely sprung. We're less than a couple weeks away, but when I start seeing all this greenery and all these flowers popping up everywhere and the sunshine with blue skies, I consider that springtime. Got a fast charger on the way. I think that that's pretty much a necessity if you do pick up this wheel and you like to go on range rides. This wheel is actually capable of accepting 20 amps, charging from 0 to 80% in around an hour. That means you could head out for a ride, stop for lunch, and if you got access to an outlet, plug in. You might not want to go all the way to that 20 amp mark. as many residential outlets at least max out at 15 amps. But anywhere between 10 to 14 amps plug in, and that should give you enough juice to continue on your journey to your heart's content. And for those who aren't aware, they also make EV charger connectors, so you can tap into any of these EV chargers that are around, and they're readily available. So it just opens up the door to so much more exploring and being able to travel greater distances. So are you looking for something that's fast, powerful, and capable of navigating all sorts of terrain? And I'm pretty sure this wheel would make a pretty decent off-road EUC as well, especially for bigger riders. But it does come stock with this amazing street tire. And for me, this is going to be a street rider. Here. Thoroughly enjoying myself on the ET Max, guys. Woo! Beautiful evening.